Hello, YouTube. So, I made, well, yeah, yeah. This thing was gonna say that I'm making it, yeah, talk, squeal, fucking, yeah, some shit like that. Kinda. I just wanted to talk about life, to be honest. I just wanted to talk about life. And I have no idea, like, where the fuck this video is gonna go, or kinda, like, how this thing's gonna get squished open, sort of. Something like that. And yeah. So life has been pretty chaotic lately. Life has been pretty darn chaotic. It's been shit has been fucking wild lately. It has been, well, it's been the same as it's been for a long time. For like, dude, it's been just about full-blown spiritual warfare since, like, well, my whole life, to be honest, but in a sense, but like real warfare, like real full-blown spiritual warfare, like fucking fighting, dude, since, like, yeah, the 4th of July last year. And I've mentioned the 4th of July last year in a couple other videos that I've made. And I've tried to understand kind of what happened to me on that day, a few different ways. And I've tried, like, reanalyzing, and I've tried, like, coming up with narratives that, like, kind of soften the situation. Because raw perception, it's kind of clear as day what happened to me. And it's painful. It hurts my heart. It hurts my heart pretty dang bad. And yeah, and so I cope, my mind copes quite a lot. It tries to find ways to cope, to be honest. It tries to find ways to cope, but this fight that I'm talking about, which I will elaborate on, yeah, I've been fighting this fight, in a sense, like, this entire life. This entire fucking life. And it's just about wrapping up here, I think, I hope. And kind of in retrospect, perhaps this is, like, premature. Well, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I ain't saying anything's won or lost yet, but yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if anyone saw that, but yeah. That's a little handy dandy tool called the vagina. And it's kind of neato. I like this thing. Yeah, what it do, it's kind of like a claw. It's kind of like a claw, dude. Kind of like this. And kind of what it does, it has two ends. One kind of like this, and it's like a pull, and then the other end's like that too. And there's a little needle right in the middle of the little claw thingy. Yeah. And what it does is for souls which are being, evil, basically. Souls that retain other people's bits and, like, refuse to give them back. Basically what this thing does is it grabs haywire souls and fucking squeezes them dry to redistribute the parts to where they belong, and it reallocates whatever chi and garbage that soul had carried with it to, dharmic purposes as opposed to evil, demonic purposes. It's like a fucking energy converter, dude. And it runs on, like, atomic power, basically. Like, those jivas, which are, being problematic, kind of act like the core of, kind of like, And and yeah, it fucking pops up like a water balloon, dude. And yeah, and so that's kind of what we're using to try and keep this thing from doing what it's been doing any longer. And yeah, because it's been doing quite a lot of harm. This thing is essentially, I'll get into the story about what happened on the 4th of July and shit. But yeah, this thing is essentially like an evil twin, or a chimera, or like an antichrist, or something along the lines of that. It's an asura, or a demon, or a, power-hungry, again, non-self-realized dark being. And I've mentioned its name before, fucking Vritra, or whatever the hell. A little baby Vritra, little fucking, Yeah, this thing is essentially just a chimera of the two halves of my parents. And they have constantly been trying to essentially gut me and remove my energy and my soul from the equation, and then use my body as a tube to house their chimeric Frankenstein creature, which was there to replace me and to stuff out the light of God, essentially. And yeah. It sounds dramatic. It has been kind of straight up like Shakespearean, but weed helps. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, how this has kind of been going down. It started a while ago. Essentially, it started after the acid trip. Like leading up to it. It's like the prequel, kind of. Like, yeah. Like, the actual main, like, conflict. Well, there's been many since then, but it initiated on the 4th of July. But this kind of, like, replacement conspiracy, fucking replacement, conspiracy, like, scheme, fucking scheme, dude. Yeah. It started with my transition. I hate to say. I have nothing against trans people, and, you know, it's been quite a fascinating experience, kind of getting to know what the other gender, like, lives like. Do you know what I mean? It's been eye-opening, and it's been good for connecting with my actual feminine side and shit like that. And all, like, I'm still going to continue kind of wearing what I've been wearing, in a sense. It hasn't been that feminine anyway, if you've been catching my videos. Like, it's kind of androgynous, I guess, but, like, yeah, like, I'm bi, but I'm not, dude, like, yeah, I'm a guy. I am a man. I'm a dude. And, yeah. And the reason I thought I was trans, see, energetically, I'm gonna sound crazy as shit. This is, yeah, I'm just gonna describe how it went down, but, yeah. Yeah. Basically, my mom swapped out my sacral chakra with her sacral chakra, and with my perspective, my perception, it stuffed, tucked away inside of that sacral chakra. It reached up and plugged into the back of my brain and kind of like puppeted and suggested a bunch of feelings and kind of got me to think I felt a certain way. And also simultaneously, like, robbed me of my willpower without me really understanding it at the time. Yeah. And not until I discovered Kundalini Yoga did I begin to realize what had happened. Which was well, not years, because it's only been it was over a year after I started transitioning. It's over a year. And, like, when I lived at Kent, for the entire, like, from August through August of last year. So I moved back home in August of 2023. So from August 2022 to 2023, I lived at Kent. And while I lived at Kent, I was watching essentially my soul get torn apart and decimated for a lot of the year, getting kind of like wrung out because they had taken my vajra. Yeah, and they were using it against me to squish me dry, with my perception kind of like lulled underneath this fucking like slumber, dude. I was convinced that I was just a point, that any of the personage or anything like that was just a figment of my imagination. And yeah, I got like brainwashed, essentially, like literally ego washed. My memory, yeah. And I saw like the gradual disintegration of my being happening. And I wanted to blame, dude, I blamed my managers, my roommates. I blamed everyone around me because, dude, for the life of me, I could not figure out what the source of the hardship was. I could not figure it out. I wouldn't allow myself to blame others because, dude, I, for real, was not sure if it was my roommates or if it was my managers or anything like that. I was pretty darn sure it wasn't. It made, like, I could see a way in which it could be, but it wasn't. It was the same people that have been doing it my whole life. I just didn't understand how they still had an effect on me when I didn't live at home anymore, as viscerally as they did. I didn't understand them, because I didn't know who I was, and who I am, and I didn't know who they were. The same shit. But yeah, I didn't know any of that shit yet. And so I wasn't aware of kind of like what they were doing to me with the perspective or the scope, like level, like openness, kind of like a camera lens. Yeah, kinda. They had my perspective, dude, like lulled into a fucking slumber. I had forgotten who I was, who I knew myself to be, what I was like, my personality traits. I knew I used to like care about God and spirit and consciousness, and at the time, and like, dude, I watched it all just erode away gradually over time. And I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was getting Alzheimer's. Straight the fuck up. I thought I was getting Alzheimer's. I thought I was getting schizophrenia. I thought all this, yeah. I was constantly looking shit up online to try and figure out what the fuck was happening to my brain. And yo, straight up, while this shit was going down, and my